Dear Lord, Creator, please give strength to the family and the friends of Joseph Henry Machtemes. Help them through this journey of grief. And assure them that Joe knows that they grieve, but also assure them that he will want all of you, in memory's sake, to live on and do things the same. Shed tears that he is gone, smile that he has lived, and pray that Joe's afterlife has taken him to the place of his dreams. Until we meet again, may the Lord bless him, the Lord keep him, and the Lord give him eternal peace. Amen. And please be seated. Choir, please come and light his father's memorial candle. The lighting of the candle, the flame, what's called the eternal flame, of course what it does is it actually is a physical representation of Joe's spirit and soul in this chapel today, along with us. And of course this incredibly wonderful song that we started the service off with. And I have to applaud the Machtemes family and all that for just typifying Joe's personality to a T in that regard. It's wonderful. Today, we gather to remember all of those little things that made a special place in your heart. To remember all those happy times when you laughed, and you will, of course, start to release all those other times when perhaps life wasn't so excellent. As you now live with this loss of Joe, know now that you are journeying with this thing called grief. And we grieve that which we value after it is gone. The journey through grief is often a very lonely one, for you each have to travel through it in your own individual way, because simply put, nobody can grieve for you. But yet, grief has a strange way of bringing people together, in as much as we have here today in the Thorhill Hall, and there is comfort in being present with others in a time of sorrow and loss. So I ask you to share that journey with others. Do not walk it alone. We have come from different places, I've referred to emotionally. We have different stages in our journey through life. Or today we say we're a wagon train through life. Our paths are varied. We look at life in different ways. Sometimes we react differently to a common situation. Is that a blessing or is that a curse? It's both. It's life. But one thing that you all have in common, at some point or other, some time or other, all of your lives have been directly affected and touched by that of Joe Machtemes. When somebody dies, you don't get over it by forgetting. You get over it by remembering and talking and bringing his name up often, and bringing those stories up all the time, and learning from all of the wonderful attributes that Joe had. I got to learn about Joe. I would have really liked to have hung around with the guy, but he had some qualities and traits that a lot of us can learn from. But so, and because of all of the mentioned, we have turned aside from accustomed ways and forgotten other plans that we had previously made for this May afternoon, and gathered here in this quiet place to celebrate Joe's life as well as to mourn his death. And our final parting, as signified by death, is always bound to bring shock and sorrow whenever the ties of love and friendship are involved. And those who feel deeply will grieve deeply. And no philosophy or religion ever taught can break that holy natural reaction of the human heart. There was an author I encountered. His name was Jorge Santillana, and I could not read his book. But on the line, translated into English, said, "There is no cure for birth or for death, save to enjoy the interval," which I include the dash between the dates. Because as you all are abundantly aware, that dash that you see represents that length of time that you've spent with family and friends here on this little blue planet we call Earth. Now this may come as a secret, but horses were his life. Joe was born and raised in the Strom, Florida, Cinnabon area, and he got all the way to grade 8, which at that time was pretty good. There was 8 children in that family, and in around 14 years, he was farmed out to a ranch in the Rocky Mountain House area, and that's where he developed his passion for horses. I was telling Eden earlier, and as I'm telling anybody, I admire anybody that has a passion for something, just to get out there and enjoy it, get muscle to the best they can. He was planning on going more wagon trains. He still has some horses, and the Machtemes family had asked people to please support the 100 Mustangs.
Rescue 100.
Pardon?
Rescue 100.
Rescue 100 horses, that, or the SPCA, or the Alzheimer's. That's very important one as well. It's your choice. The Honor Guard is here. The Thorhild Royal Canadian Legion 234 will have a ceremony for Joe towards the end of the service. As you know, he was a World War II vet. He did fight in the Battle of Ortona in Italy. It's just a little east of Rome. And he took some shrapnel from a grenade. And Joe was one of the last, I think, from World War II, this Thorhild Legion. And during that wartime, and he was in London, it was during the Blitz, and Joe kind of liked music, and he kind of liked dancing. So he went out to this dance, and he met and fell in love with this gal called Sybil. So then, make a long story short, he said, "Sybil, want to get married and come to Canada? I've got a place." So I don't think Sybil really knew exactly what Joe meant to say, "You want to get married and come to Canada." So she jumped on a freighter, went from Liverpool to Pier 21 in Halifax, and anybody that's done that, that's a really, really, really long ride on a freighter, and there wasn't many passengers. And little did she realize that the train ride from Halifax to Calgary was equally as long. And at that point there, Joe picks her up in Calgary and starts to drive out to the log cabin deep in the Canadian wilderness, Rocky Mountain House. I just wish I could have been there for that moment. When she got out of the truck, I said, "What have I done?" Those are mosquitoes. They had the log cabin store. And they were married in 47, and things had worked out. They would have been married 61 years this November. And I also applaud anybody that can stay married for that long, through the ups and the downs. Because as you all know, anybody can sail a ship on a nice calm day, but when the going gets tough, you can rough it out. So no, there was a couple times they probably thought things over, but they got through. I admire them. And after going from pillar to post and trade to trade, and job to job, most good, one not so good. I think Joe got taken once because of his honesty and his trust for other people, and he got taken. But, you know what, he was able to rebound from that. Later on, his life moved on and things changed. He had a home here on 2nd Street, Thor Hill. And I asked him, I said, was your dad a cook? And she said, no. Well, he didn't like to cook an awful lot. So he'd like to go out here to Mama's Pizza or go out to the Chinese food buffet here once in a while. Or sometimes go to Westlock Inn. So I guess in his words, he says, sometimes it's easier to go out. The lots of things that I learned about Joe and what I like about him is he was game for pretty much anything. So if somebody offers you a dare someday, just do it. Because it's just so much fun. At 70 years old, he went skiing. He wasn't crazy about it. It's not like he continued with the sport, but he tried it. He went snorkeling in the Dominican Republic while attending Kim's third son's wedding there at that point. He was 88, I think. He played water volleyball and pretty much had a good time. And my favorite hobby of his that he did was he did bikini watching. It's an important job. That's what he had to do, so he took it upon himself. And the essence of Joe is regardless of what life dished out, he could and would always find a way out. It's classified as a chipper guy, a happy-go-lucky person, seldom in a blue mood. Had a sense of humor, which is probably one of the most important tools that you could ever have. Never got angry or blamed anything on anybody else other than himself. Joe is a true prairie gentleman, loved by many for his richness of his personality. Now, I know that you'll all have stories that you can and you will tell, because just after this portion here, we're going to open up for fellowship. And this is where we're going to be served by Vicki O'Hagan's Catering, and you know the routine. But there's one more thing that we need you to do before you go for dinner. I'll let you know about that a bit later. So you'll all have the chance, but Eden and Kim and Lloyd, Leonard, thank you, have taken time out to prepare a tribute for the father, so I invite you out at this time.